Right, so we've got our panel coming up. The panel is Tokenizing the Consumer, and our moderator back there is Melanie Mohr. She's the founder and CEO of Word of Mouth Token, so she's going to make her way up here. And the other panelists who should make their way to the stage are Rex Wong, CEO of AIVON, Carl Kirchhoff, the co-founder of CEO of SportsFix, and incidentally the winner of the ICO competition in Singapore. Shahan, Ohanessian, founder and CEO of Serve, and Nathan, I already said Nathan's name, Nathan Chandra, founder of Buttrfly. So I'm going to hand do you guys have enough microphones there? You got 1, 2, I can give you this one, you can borrow this one. What's that? We can toss a coin. Michael told me you were, so I'm going to hand you this microphone, all right? Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Nicely done.
So, I'm a little bit surprised of this honor to be the host or moderator, but I'm happy to take over this challenge. Maybe we just start a little bit by introducing ourselves and, tell us what you're doing and what's your background.
Sure. My name is Carl Kirchhoff. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called SportsFix.io. For better lack of words, we are the Netflix for sports and put everything onto the blockchain. Let the fans vote, stake, crowdfund content, which they actually really want, and in fact debundle the existing bundling packaging from cable companies and TV stations and everything else. Launched our services in Malaysia and Indonesia last year, reaching already about 300 million people, and then launching our services further out in Southeast Asia and China by the end of this year.
Oh, you can hold the mic. Oh, no.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Well, my name is Nathan Chandra. I am one of the founders of Buttrfly. We just went over the presentation, so I think my intro had a good intro.
I am Rex Wong, CEO of AIVON. AIVON is an artificial intelligent video open network, and think of us as the Ethereum for decentralized video applications, tying in AI and a human network to bring better discovery searchability to video.
So and I'm the CEO and founder of WOM Token, which is bringing word of mouth content to the blockchain. Besides that, I'm also the CEO and founder of Yay, which is a social commerce platform for peer-to-peer product recommendations. We have launched or tested in 2017, went out of beta in 2017. We have downloads in 160 countries and have 170,000 registered teenagers on the platform who are creating content, and we are bringing this content aligned with affiliate links so that everyone can immediately start purchasing from these recommendations. Just to get started with maybe tokenizing the consumer, maybe you could explain just how you want to tokenize the consumers that are already using your platform.
So for SportsFix, we tokenize the content first and foremost, and later we create, if you wish, a passport of the fan. So what we are building is a big data analytics platform and leveraging AI and ML to service the customer better than what they are serviced right now. You pay so much money in the packaged bundle of a cable company and anything else, and everyone knows you have 200 channels, and if you're lucky you use one. This applies for older people like us. It doesn't apply at all for younger people, so cord shaving, cord cutting, and cord nevers is happening. And particularly in Southeast Asia, where we are, the average age, in fact, is 28 years old. So they are cord nevers. We are in this underbanked, under-credit carded environment, and we believe tokenizing the content and then later splitting all those rights and create highly personalized, contextualized, and localized content for the fans is the model of the future.
I guess I'll go here. So for us, we actually we have a venture-backed company called VideoSmart, and we are a white label video platform for a lot of media companies, especially in Asia. In fact, I think Carl and I are working on something together to bring his sports to some of the people that watch on our platforms. And we reach about 500 million users right now. Essentially, one of the things that we have is, because we're in 20 countries, we have this problem of connecting content with consumers. Like language is a problem, so translation and transcription, and as well as the metadata so that they can search, discover, and get recommended content. And to do that, we need to use AI, and AI isn't perfect, so we also need to use humans to teach that AI. We have a scalability problem because, well, we have a lot of content. So we had 500 million users. We looked at them and said, well, why don't we use them as kind of our mechanical Turks, right? And to incentivize them, right now they can watch with advertising or they can pay, and the third option will be to earn. And this is really how we can utilize an existing user base and tokenize some of the operations that go into it and incentivize them and create an economy around those users that actually use it.
Yeah, and for us, it's really about getting tokens and the experience of using crypto into the general public's hand. And you know, there's everybody's on Instagram, millions and millions of people. Like I was saying, it's and the influencer scope of it is going to be around 12 million influencers by 2020 that are on Instagram. And so we want a really easy way for them to experience crypto. So it's first just being, they're going to be able to receive fiat. Yeah, it's using crypto in the background, but then they also have options to trade that into Buttrfly coins. So the people that do want crypto can experience that. The people that have never experienced crypto get a real soft way to be introduced to it. And that's what I'm most excited about, is how this is going to be able to spread across to the general consumer.
So we started also thinking about to tokenize what's already happening on our platform, but the more we dived into word of mouth marketing, we saw, wow, it's happening across all platforms. So we should, rather than creating a token for our platform, create a protocol that could be used by many partners and many platforms. What is interesting for me, because when tokenizing the consumer, we need to think about platforms that can scale, and you already are having platforms that have quite a good reach, a lot of users already on a daily basis. Which blockchain, which platform have you decided to go for?
That's a really good question, to be honest. And it all comes down to scalability, to speed, and the gas price, right? If we have thousands of transactions per minute and in multiple countries, I think there is no right platform right now. We have chosen Ethereum just to make it easy because there's so many developers, but we are fully aware that our business model cannot sustain on Ethereum alone, and even Plasma and other solutions are not the solution for the future. The second is the interoperability issue. If we have some countries where some platforms are stronger, I think all those problems have not been solved yet. And I think, like anyone else, we're talking to all the big blockchain, EOS and NEO and NEM and you name it. And there's no right or wrong. And I think the answer to is for us, and I think for all of us, is about partnerships. It's about creating an ecosystem where we all work together and not against each other, and solve the problems, because there is no competition. There's only partnerships. The competition is what we're trying to disrupt, and that's where I see it. It's a lot of conversations and CoinAgenda and Token Match and other high-level events help us to fast-track this, because all the other events are full of many different opportunities, almost impossible to grasp. And here you have most of the decisive partners, and you can really check which platform is the right one. But to answer, there is no right or wrong right now, and it's an exploration. We're all on the same path, I guess.
Everyone on Ethereum or any other solution?
Yeah, I would iterate the same thing as what Carl said. We also have built on Ethereum. It probably won't scale to what we want. In fact, we have been working with Plasma, which is kind of the side chain, to try and speed it up. But we also have looked at either forking, doing our own chain, but at this time, because that's not the core of what drives our tokenomics, right now it's Ethereum, right? And we'll use that, but we've talked to the same guys, the NEMs, the NEOs, everything. At one time we were looking at NEO, and right now we're still evaluating that, but I think when we go out, it's going to be Ethereum.
So you will have also parts off-chain and just send it over?
Yeah, so we're using Plasma as the off-chain to do the things that don't need to be on the public ledger, and only keep the things that are transaction-based on that, because it won't scale if we do that, because we do so much microtransactions that don't need to be on the public chain.
Yeah, we're a believer in EOS right now, so I think that's the way we're going. But you never know. It's everything's moving so quickly. You guys see who's actually gonna get it right.
So you already decided to go with EOS now?
Yeah, I mean, we built the beta on Ethereum, but it's EOS is what we're actually digging deep into.
And now talking to go-to-market strategies, because I see a lot of projects out there that are also claiming we are the next YouTube on a blockchain, and then they have a 20 million hard cap, and you think, how will you get there with a 20 million to conquer this huge platform? So the question is, what's your go-to-market strategy? I mean, how are you going to scale it?
So for our go-to-market is like a reverse ICO, because we have already existing relationships. We have already signed up 7 telco companies, mobile network operators, and we will onboard those people who we already have slowly but surely to the crypto. I think there is a price incentive, because it will be cheaper, right? We take all the middleman markup and all the packaging out of the ecosystem and redistribute this as tokens back to the fans. So there's a financial incentive, and I think that's an interesting model for many more ICOs to come, and not start from scratch and trying to create an adoption rate, which I think we all have the same challenges, right? There's 1 out of 10 tokens alive, if any, and everyone tries to be the one token which actually has an adoption. And we believe if they already have an existing relationship through telcos, and they have a mobile phone, and then we have a wallet which they have on their mobile phone, the adoption rate is relatively high from our point of view.
Yeah, for us, how we're doing it is we've already got brands that have committed millions and millions of dollars to us and using our platform. So onboarding the brands isn't going to be an issue. And the way I kind of view it is it goes back to the necessities of life. And we're able to let people get paid and get money so they can eat. And that in itself is a big motivator for people. But secondly, we're into influencer marketing. So we have budgets allocated to use influencers to talk about our system. And so that in itself is going to be another way to onboard influencers onto the platform. I think it's really easy to say, hey, log into the app, you've got $100 sitting there, or you've got campaigns that are already ready to use you. And as long as we can get their email addresses, or else have other influencers talking about what we're doing, onboarding is going to be an interesting scenario for us.
And for us, we control about 50 platforms for video, and we control the payment stack, and we control the advertising stack. And so it's very easy for us. We hit a button. I mean, once we're done, ready and go, we can just hit a button and deploy, and it will be on all the platforms pretty instantaneously. And these are platforms that we power about 1 in 4 media companies in Asia, right? So this is already existing. It's our existing business. And it already reaches all these users, and it's just one more option on how to watch content. Today they can watch with advertising, but of course they give up data, right? So if they want to be more private, this would be an option for them. Or they pay, but it's been proven the stats are 1% to 2% will pay for content, and in Asia, I can tell you it's a lot less than that, right? And so this is another option, and because we have platforms, a lot of platforms in emerging countries like India and Indonesia and the Philippines, there's also it's also places where the time value of money is higher than the time value of or the money value of time, right? So they're much more willing to contribute their labor or computing resources because to them that costs, their time value is a lot less. And this is just the classic outsourcing arbitrage that it already exists in the world today. And we have platforms in more developed countries where the money value is more, right? And so for those, that creates an opportunity as well to drive the tokenomics.
When talking about tokenizing consumers, of course, the question is who is paying, of course, for this data? It's mainly the brands. So also, besides thinking what we need to have in an UI UX that is as simple, as easy to use for the consumers and understandable, we also at the same time need to think, what do we need to build for the brands to spend their money? And at the end, do we wish them to purchase the tokens to spend it on the consumers? And so I would like to hear your experience, especially yours now, talking to the brands, or you have already brands on board, incentivizing what's happening on your platform. Will they be willing to open up in a way an account, to have a wallet, to have an Ether wallet, to get some tokens, to purchase tokens, to incentivize? How is the process? How do you see it with the marketeers from the brands reacting to this?
Yeah, for us, we're the brands aren't interested in the tokens, so they're putting in fiat. It's kind of like trade desk. Hey, I've got $100,000 I want to put in your system. Great, put $100,000 in. Now, once they want to do their campaign, it's going to move into a tethered token in the background that they don't see, and then that will, be relayed or sent out to the influencers after the influencer takes action. But as long as you're speaking to the brands in a way that makes sense to them, they're in it. But if we go there and say, hey, buy these Buttrfly tokens, and these Buttrfly tokens might go up in price or might go down in price, they're going to have a hard time. So if a brand puts $100,000 into the system, it better be $100,000 tomorrow when they come to the table. If they log back into the system and it's now worth $80,000, excuse my language, but they're going to lose their shit. And if they log in and it's $120,000, they might be happy, but they're still going to lose their shit because they're not going to know how to deal with it because they're not in the business of investing money for it to grow. So what we did is we put ourselves in the brand's shoes. And luckily for me, one of my chief of business development officer, he's a forefather of product placement. So if you think of Gremlins, Spielberg, Spelling, 90210, all those shows, he put all the products in all those shows. So when we walk into the office at Fox, we're talking to the chief revenue officer. And so he has a good understanding of all the campaigns they've done in the past and what the experiences are like. So what we're doing is making sure that the system is set up so it can be adopted by the masses, but still be using crypto in the background.
Yeah, and for us, same thing. That's why we have a gas component, because for investors, they want it to go up. For people who actually use the utility, they want it to be stable. So you need a stable coin as well. But I kind of look at it as this whole thing is, will people buy tokens or not buy tokens? And to a lot of our buyers, which would be the advertisers and content owners and publishers, they don't need to even know it's a token or it's crypto. As long as the thing that they need to buy is something they really need, they'll buy it, right? And so I always believe that if the product sucks, then it doesn't matter how you're going to buy it. And if the product's good, they'll buy it. They'll find the way to buy it, right? So it really, I don't think is about token or crypto. And to them, it's just, well, it's credits to buy the utility that they're buying. And we just need to create something that is compelling, that they're willing to do it. And if it is, and it's cost competitive to other things in the market that they can buy, then they're going to buy it no matter how it is. So it's like buying minutes on mobile, right? Minutes are kind of a token if you think about it in a way, but they're minutes, they're credits, and if I need those mobile minutes, I'm going to buy those mobile minutes, and that's really how I look at the tokenization, and we're just creating a vehicle for them to easily buy it. And for us, because they can earn it, and we also have an economy to buy, so we have content, right? They don't even need to go back and forth into other cryptocurrencies and exchanges, because I think that is still a little broken right now. But if we can keep inside our own economy, and it's just I earn token and I spend token within the same economy, I think that really works very well. That's how I think we're going to drive it, and I'm sure my colleagues here, same thing, right?
Pretty much all said. I think we're all on the mercy of exchanges right now, and they have the power, and we need to see as ICOs how we cleverly work together to make this, again, more adoption, higher adoption rate and more accessible for anyone. There will be times, I guess, the universities in New York, for example, accept now crypto, which is a great sign. Whether sponsors will accept crypto at some point, and on my case, whether rights holders will accept tokens at some point, I don't know. At the moment, we need to hedge and still use fiat currency. And it's all coming down to us to build the ecosystem as fast and as secure and easy as possible, so that there is no reason to doubt anything. And there is always the conversation of Bitcoin fluctuation and other coins. And maybe there's even a second ecosystem outside of Bitcoin, which is closer to a stable coin, which Rex has mentioned. And maybe that's more an ecosystem for us consumer businesses. I'm fine if my fan can watch more content for the same amount of tokens. This is a good problem to have. But I think that's something we need to all work together and find out what the right ecosystem is for us consumer-directed business.
I think we have to wrap up soon. So maybe last question. Besides your own products, what are other great products that you have seen recently in the consumer space where you think this has a high chance of being a valuable token, or a token that finds high consumer traction?
I think look at 2017 and look at BAT, right? And I just read an article saying, with all the money which they raised, did they actually deliver something which they promised to deliver? Because those indicators will determine the future of all of our successes. And in fact, there was positive news. Yeah, there is the browser actually exists now, where you have this attention token, and they are in beta, and there is something. So I think those are the examples which I would like to see more, where successfully a roadmap has been executed, and there is a beta. Of course, there's always challenges, and the teams need to work on it. But I think it's great news for all of us to have those companies being a positive example and actually delivering what they promised.
Yeah, I'm a fan of things that are working, so I really like Steam It and what they're doing.
So I was just thinking which ones are. I actually do like BAT because it, as Carl said, it has a case. They're doing what they're doing, and it's out there. In fact, the guys here, I think that because we're complementary, there are a lot of things that can tie together. And I actually do think that there will be opportunities to do token to token, right? Or wrap tokens. Like, we have a big user base. I could certainly, the influencers that he has could certainly be on my platform, and I can use his sports content. And we all have tokens, and we all have our own economies. And I think that actually will be new opportunities that will be created. And video coin, I need to use CDN and encoding services, right? And so I don't think it's competitive. I think it's very collaborative, and I think that's what I love about the blockchain ecosystem, is that there's the decentralization, but actually it's collaboration, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity in working together with the various token economies so that we can make everybody's work and work better.
So I have just to add maybe the Kin and Kick example. Of course, everyone is waiting for this to be well executed, but I have to say, when I read the white paper, when I read also the economy paper, I thought, well, they did quite a good job. But now, of course, like you said, the execution is still missing, and I heard also the CEO saying some not so nice things about blockchain and Ethereum. I think he already saw the challenges of implementing things. But the future is bright, and I wish you great luck for your projects, and see us next year.
Thank you.